Good morning, children. Let us once again start with the online lectures for the biology subject. We were on the last part of the chapter 8, that is respiration and circulation. Today, children will study the internal structure of heart. We have covered the theory for the internal structure of heart in the previous lecture. Today, with the help of the diagram, we will try to justify the theory. Here, children, see, I have drawn a diagram which will help you to understand the structure of human heart, the internal structure of human heart. The diagram is not showing any kind of section. You don't have to draw the diagram in the board exams also, the same diagram. But my diagram will help you to understand the theory for the internal structure of human heart. As you all know, children, that heart is a highly muscular organ playing very important role in the process of circulation, made up of very strong cardiac muscles. Now, children, here human heart is made up of 4 chambers. Human heart is made up of 4 chambers. The upper 2 chambers, this and this one, are called as atria, or they are called as auricles. Whereas the lower 2 chambers, this one and this one, it is called as ventricles. Right? I'll repeat. Heart is made up of 4 chambers. Upper 2 chambers are called as atria or auricles, and the lower 2 chambers are called as ventricles. Children, we have studied in the theory that atrias or the auricles are the receiving chambers, whereas the lower ventricles are the propelling chamber. They propel the blood, right? Now, if you see the diagram, heart is vertically divided into 2 halves. Heart is vertically divided into 2 halves by a septum, right? So, children, here in the diagram, you can very well see that the right side of the heart receives deoxygenated blood, that is impure blood, blood which is mixed up with carbon dioxide, which is very toxic, which is very poisonous. So we call this blood as the impure blood or the deoxygenated blood. Whereas if you focus on the left side of the heart, the left side of the heart contains, or I must say receives and contains oxygenated blood, that is pure blood. Next to that, as in the first section, we have seen that human heart is made up of 4 chambers. The upper 2 chambers, atria or auricles, and the lower 2 chambers, ventricles. Next to that, we have seen that heart is vertically divided by a septum. The right half of the heart receives and contains deoxygenated blood or impure blood, whereas the left side of the heart receives and contains oxygenated blood or pure blood. Right? Now, children, let us come to the next session. Now, this deoxygenated blood or the oxygenated blood is brought by the veins. You might be having prior knowledge, children, that the blood vessels which brings blood to the heart, they are called as veins. Whereas the blood vessels which originates from the heart are called as arteries. So look at, children, on the right side, we have these 2 veins. The upper one called as superior vena cava or also called as precaval vein. bringing deoxygenated blood from the upper sides of the body, whereas the lower vein is the inferior vena cava, also called as postcaval vein, bringing deoxygenated blood from the lower side of the body. So this superior vena cava and inferior vena cava brings the deoxygenated blood and it is poured into the right atrium. So right atrium receives deoxygenated blood, right? At the same time, children, there is a pulmonary vein. Look at the left side. This pulmonary vein is coming from the lungs. As it enters into the heart, it divides into 4 branches. See the 4 smaller branches. So these 4 pulmonary vein brings oxygenated blood and pours it into the left atrium. So children, the 2 veins which brings blood to the heart is deoxygenated blood, which is brought by superior vena cava or precaval vein, and inferior vena cava or postcaval vein, and oxygenated blood which is brought from the lungs and poured into the left atrium with the help of 3 pulmonary vein. Next to this, children, focus your attention on the right half. Look here, children, the right atrium, between the right atrium and the right ventricle, you see there are 3 cup-like valves. 1, 2 and 3 cup-like depressions. So these 3 cup-like valves are called as tricuspid valves. What are they called as? Tricuspid valves. Between the right atrium and the right ventricle. In the similar manner, when you focus your attention on the left half of the heart, between the left atrium and the left ventricle, see there are two cup-like valves. So these 2 cup-like valves are called as bicuspid valves. It is also called as mitral valves. It looks like the cap. The name mitral is given since it looks like a cap which is kept on the head. So we have studied the 2 valves. One present between the right atrium and the right ventricle, and the second present between the left atrium and the left ventricle. So called tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve or mitral valves. Now, when you come down to the right lower chamber of the heart, that is right ventricle, which receives the deoxygenated blood. Look here, children, from the right ventricle arises. See this blue color thin blood vessel is arising from the right ventricle. So as I have told you earlier that the blood vessels which arises from the heart, they are called as arteries. So but obvious, children, this thin blood vessel which arises from the right ventricle is the pulmonary artery. Look here, it is the pulmonary artery. This one going towards the left lung and this side going towards the right lung. So accordingly, you can even label them as left pulmonary artery and right pulmonary artery also. Or together you can label them as pulmonary artery. So don't forget, children, the artery which originates from the right ventricle, right, and carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs is called as pulmonary artery. Whereas now when you focus your attention on the left ventricle, the left lower chamber of the heart, from the left lower chamber arises the thickest artery of our body, which is called as aorta. What is it called as? Aorta. This is also called as the mother artery. This is also called as the mother artery. And we know very well, children, that since the left half of the heart receives and contains. Okay, so next, children, now when we go with, so up till now what we have studied here, the four chambers of heart, the blood vessels or the veins bringing deoxygenated and oxygenated blood into the heart, the blood vessels, that is arteries, arising from the heart, and the valves which are present between the right and the left, upper and the lower chamber, that is the tricuspid and the bicuspid valve or the mitral valves. Correct, children? Now, along with this, if you see at the onset of the arteries, that is the pulmonary artery and even the aorta, there is present half moon-shaped valve. See this. At the onset of pulmonary artery, which arises from the right ventricle, and the aorta, which arises from the left ventricle, there is present a half moon-shaped valve, which is called as semilunar valve. Half moon-shaped valve, which is called as semilunar valve. Now, children, this valve prevents the backflow of blood. It doesn't allow the blood, the deoxygenated blood from the pulmonary artery to come back into the heart. At the same time, this semilunar valve present at the onset of aorta doesn't allow the oxygenated blood to come back into the left ventricle. The same function is performed by the bicuspid and the tricuspid valve. That these valves acts like the doors and prevents the backflow of blood from the right ventricle to the right atrium and from the left ventricle to the left atrium. Fine, children? At the same time, if you concentrate on the lower conical or pointed chambers, the receiving chambers, that is ventricle, children, here the ventricles shows presence of, right, chordae tendineae and the columnae carnes, right? They help in the opening of the valves. They helps in the opening and the closing of the valves. So next, children, we'll be again moving to the theory. Next, children, to move on with the theory, we'll start with the pumping action of the heart. You know, children, heart acts as the main pumping organ. The pumping action of the heart is brought about by rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the cardiac muscles. We know very well that muscles are responsible for contraction and relaxation, which brings about movement. In the similar manner, children, heart, which itself is made up of a very strong kind of cardiac muscles, it contracts and relaxes. And this contraction and relaxation follows a rhythm. It always takes place in an alternate manner. It always takes place in an alternate manner. Alright? So, children, here, contraction of the heart muscles is called as systole, whereas relaxation of the heart muscles is called as diastole. So, children, the heart, which acts as a pumping organ, right, brings about rhythmic and sequential contraction and relaxation, right? So, this contraction of the heart muscles is entitled as, it is called as systole, whereas the relaxation of the heart muscles, where the cardiac muscles relaxes to receive the blood, is called as diastole. What is it called as? Diastole. No children, a single systole followed by a diastole makes one heartbeat. Human heart beats 72 times per minute, and this is called as the heart rate. This is called as the heart rate, which is indicated by capital HR. During each heartbeat, the ventricle pumps about 70 ml of blood. And children, this is called as the stroke volume of the heart, indicated by SV, capital S, capital V. It means that heart pumps 72 into 70, that sums up to 5040 ml, which is equivalent to 5 liters of blood every minute. 5 liters of blood per minute. This is called as the cardiac output. What is it called as? Cardiac output. In 1 minute, the heart muscles pumps out 5 liters of blood, which forms the cardiac output. Let us now move on to conducting tissues of the heart. You know very well, children, that human heart is myogenic. That is, heart is capable of generating cardiac contraction. We have studied in the prior topic. It shows rhythmicity. That is, it can generate its own rhythm by specialized muscles. A specialized cardiac musculature called as nodal tissues is distributed in the heart. Part of the nodal tissue present in the upper right corner of the right atrium, children, is called as SA node or sinoatrial node, also called as sinoauricular node. Right? Part of the nodal tissue present in the upper right corner of the right atrium is called as SA node or sinoatrial node. It lies at the base of the opening of the superior vena cava. We have studied in the diagram of the heart that the superior vena cava or the precaval vein brings deoxygenated blood from the upper side of the body and pours it into the right atrium. Yes. Another nodal tissue, children, is called as autorhythmic fibers, which controls the beating rate of the heart. So, conducting tissues or nodal tissues consist of SA node, sinoatrial node, AV node, auriculoventricular node, bundles of His and Purkinje fibers. So, children, these four forms the conducting tissues or the nodal tissues: SA node, AV node, bundles of His and Purkinje fibers. Next is conducting system of the heart. How these four nodal tissues or nodal tissues work. SA node, children, present in the right atrium acts as a pacemaker. It acts as a pacemaker because it has the power to generate new waves. The sinoauricular node, or I can say sinoatrial node, has the capacity to generate new waves of contraction. SA node passes the contractions to the left ventricle, also to the AV nodes. Now, what is the work, what is the role of AV node? AV node, that is atrioventricular node, present in the right atrial wall near the base of the interatrial septum, acts as a pace setter. SA node acts as a pacemaker, whereas AV node acts as a pace setter of the heart. It acts as the pace setter of the heart. So here, children, see, the conducting tissues or the nodal tissues are beautifully seen in this section of the heart. Here, in the right atrium, the sinoatrial node, also the atrioventricular node. Look here, children, this one, this fiber-like structure, right? This one towards the right side, this one going towards the left side, forms the right and the left bundles branches. Here, this AV node, when is thrown like a fiber, forms the bundles of His. Now this bundle of His further divides into very thin branches, very thin fibers called as Purkinje fibers. So children, SA node, sinoatrial node, AV node, atrioventricular node, bundles of His and Purkinje fibers are the conducting tissues or the nodal tissue. So now children, the third nodal tissue is the bundle of His, also called as Tavara branches. We have very recently seen them in the section of heart. Starts from the AV node and passes through the interventricular septum. Bundles of His forms two branches, one towards the right half and the other is the left bundle. One for each ventricle. The right branch or the right bundle goes to the right ventricle and the left bundle goes to the left ventricle. These branches forms network of fibers. They form network of fibers in the ventricular wall, and these fibers are called as children Purkinje fibers. What are they called as? Purkinje fibers. So bundles of His and Purkinje fibers spread impulses in the ventricle. Their function is to spread impulses in the ventricles. As a result, both the ventricles contract simultaneously. Both the ventricles contract simultaneously. We have studied that when the right ventricle contracts, it pumps the deoxygenated blood into the pulmonary artery. And when the left ventricle contracts, right, it pumps or pushes the oxygenated blood into the aorta. Let us study now the next, which is cardiac cycle. The next topic, which is cardiac cycle. You know children, very recently we have studied that human heart contracts and relaxes in a very alternate manner, in a very rhythmic manner. So this contraction is called as systole. We have studied right now, and the relaxation is called as diastole. The contraction of the heart muscles called as systole, whereas the relaxation of the heart muscles is entitled as diastole. Atria and ventricles contracts alternately, right? The chambers of the heart contracts and relaxes alternately. Consecutive systole and diastole constitute a single heartbeat, or I must say a cardiac cycle. Now this cardiac cycle is completed in 0.8 seconds. 72 beats are completed in 1 minute. 72 heartbeats are completed in 1 minute. Right children? Next we are going to study about the atrial systole. Now we will study what happens when the upper receiving chambers, so-called atria, contracts. So let us study the atrial systole. Atrial systole means when the upper chamber of the heart, that is the atria, contracts, it forms the atrial systole. So children, here, right atrium which receives the deoxygenated blood, and you have studied in the diagram that the left atrium receives pure or oxygenated blood. Both the atrias relaxes and receives the blood. Remember one thing children, when the heart muscles relaxes, R for relax, it always receives, R for receive. So we have studied that the right atrium relaxes and receives the deoxygenated blood through superior and inferior vena cava, and the left atrium relaxes and receives the oxygenated blood through the 4 pulmonary veins. Right? So here a pressure is exerted on the wall. Now, children, in response to this pressure, SA node gets excited and generates cardiac impulse. Due to this, cardiac muscles in the atrial wall contracts. Due to the cardiac impulse, the cardiac muscles in the atrial wall, that is in the wall of the atria, contracts. It shrinks, causing atrial systole. During atrial systole, that is during atrial contraction, blood is poured into the ventricle. The atria contracts, they shrink, and the blood is poured in the respective lower chamber. Now, blood is prevented from going back into the veins and coronary sinus by Eustachian valves and Thebetian valves respectively. Children, I'll repeat, blood is prevented from going back into the veins and the coronary sinus by Eustachian valves and Thebetian valves respectively. Alright, for MCQ, the names of the valves plays an important role. After completing systole, the atria goes to the diastole, or it goes to the stage of relaxation. Now children, next, the atrial systole is for 0.1 second and the atrial diastole is for 0.7 seconds. The muscles of the atria contracts for 0.1 second, whereas the muscles of the atria relaxes for 0.7 seconds. Next children, we'll study the ventricular systole. That is the contraction which is created in the ventricles. The impulse which started from the SA node. The impulse which started from the SA node now reaches the AV node and it gets excited. When it reaches the AV node, it gets excited. AV nodes send impulse to the bundles of His. And children, from the bundles of His, you know very well that it is passed on to the fibers, which is nothing but the Purkinje fibers. In turn, Purkinje fiber spreads the impulse all over the walls of the ventricle. Due to this, the wall of the ventricles, children, contracts, causing or resulting into ventricular systole. Now, what happens during ventricular systole? During ventricular systole, children, the right ventricle pumps deoxygenated blood into the pulmonary trunk and the left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood, pure blood, into the aorta, that is the mother artery. Now, during the ventricular systole, the cuspid valves close. Both the anteroventricular aperture, preventing the backflow of the blood into the atria, and the lub sound is heard. Lub sound is heard. When the heart beats, we generally say in Hindi, heart dhak dhak karta hai, but it's not dhak dhak, children. If you go scientifically, if you hear it through the medical machines, it sounds lub and dub. It sounds lub and dub. L-U-B-B, lub. So children, ventricular systole lasts for 0.3 seconds and the ventricular diastole lasts for 0.5 seconds. Contraction of the ventricle lasts for 0.3 seconds, whereas the ventricle muscles relaxes for 0.5 seconds. During ventricular diastole, semilunar valves are closed. Children, we have studied that the semilunar valve or the half moon shaped valve is present at the onset of arteries which arises from the two ventricles, that is the pulmonary trunk and the aorta, preventing the backflow of the blood from the pulmonary trunk and the systemic aorta back into the ventricle and resulting into a dub sound. A dub sound is heard. So the heart produces the sound lub and dub. Heart produces the sound lub and dub. It is not dhap and dhap. It is lub and dub. For about 0.4 seconds, both the atria and the ventricles are in the diastole. When all the chambers of the heart are in the diastolic stage, this condition is called joint diastole or complete diastole. Thus, duration of one cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. 0.8 seconds. Children, right side of the heart contains deoxygenated blood and the left side contains oxygenated or pure blood. Therefore, total volume of the blood pumped during one ventricular systole is called as the stroke volume. It is approximately 70 ml. We have studied about the cardiac output also. It is the volume of blood pumped out per minute for a normal adult human being, and it is 5040 ml per minute. That is approximately equal to 5 liters of blood every minute. So here CO, which stands for cardiac output, is equivalent to SV into HR, that is the heart rate, which is 70 into 72, which sums up to 5040 ml per liters. So here children, I can say that we have come to an end of what role is played by the king organ, so-called heart, in the circulation of blood. Let us study the blood vessels, which also plays very important role. Since you know very well children that we human beings shows closed type of circulation. The blood, which is the circulatory fluid, is not filled in the body cavity, but it flows through closed tubes, pipes and channels, which are called as blood vessels. So there are three main types of blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. Let us study them one by one. Children, the topic is very important from board examination point of view. Either it is asked in the form of distinguish, where generally they go with the distinguish between arteries and veins, or it can be even asked separately as short note. So let us start with the first blood vessel, that is artery. Here children, to study what are arteries, I can say these are blood vessels which carries blood from the heart to various parts or organs of our body. Arteries are the blood vessels which originates from the heart. It starts from the heart. It carries the blood from the heart to various parts of the body. Next, they carry oxygenated blood, except the single artery, the only artery, pulmonary artery, which we have studied very recently in the diagram, carries deoxygenated blood. So, अगर आपके बॉडी में say for example 100 arteries हैं, तो 99 आर्टरीज ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड कैरी करेंगे. बॉडी की सिर्फ और सिर्फ इकलौती आर्टरी जो कि इम्प्योर और डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड कैरी करती है, इट इज पल्मोनरी आर्टरी अराइजिंग फ्रॉम द राइट वेंट्रिकल, कैरिंग इम्प्योर ब्लड, डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड to the two lungs for its oxygenation. Next children, arteries are situated deeply in our body except few like radial, branchial and femorals, which are superficially located. These are thick-walled and more elastic blood vessels. They are very thick-walled. We'll see them, we'll witness it through the diagram. And they are elastic in nature. They have lot of elasticity since the walls are very thick. They have a smaller lumen. You know children, the space which is present in the blood vessels for the flow of blood is called as the lumen. So arteries have a smaller lumen. And the arterial lumen is devoid of valves. It shows absence of valves. There are no valves present in the lumen of the artery. Blood flows rapidly with a very high pressure in the arteries. So the flow of blood is very high in the arteries. Look at the transverse section of the artery. Look at the section of the artery. The section of the artery, children, shows that the artery is a thick-walled blood vessel. See, it is so thick. This thickness, this width indicates that arteries are the thick-walled blood vessels. So next is we are going to study the transverse section of artery. When you take a section of the artery, how does it looks like? What all are present over there? So remember one thing, children, the section of the arteries shows presence of 3 layers. The outermost layer is called as tunica externa. What is it called as? Tunica externa. This middle yellow layer, which is very thick, is called as tunica media. What is it called as? Tunica media. And the innermost one, provided with a single layer of cell, is called as tunica interna. It is called as tunica interna. So, the transverse section of the arteries shows 3 layers: outer tunica externa, or it is also called as tunica adventitia. Right? It is a thick and tough layer of collagen fibers. Tunica externa or tunica adventitia is made up of collagen fibers. Whereas children, tunica media made up of smooth muscle fibers and elastic fibers. So, this tunica media, which is made up of layers of smooth muscle fibers, gives elasticity, more elasticity to the arteries as compared to the veins. This thick muscular and elastic layer makes the arterial wall pulsatile. The innermost tunica interna is made up of a single layer of endothelial cells. We have seen that the innermost layer is just made up of, it was made up of a single layer of cells. Which cells? Endothelial cells. Now let us move on to the next blood vessel, which is veins. These are blood vessels which carries blood from various parts or organs of the body back to the heart. Blood vessels which brings blood from various parts or organs of the body back to the heart. Now these blood vessels carries deoxygenated blood. जनरली टेंडेंसी ये होती है कि वेन्स जो होते हैं दे कैरी डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड, दैट इज इम्प्योर ब्लड, दैट इज ब्लड मिक्स्ड विद कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड फ्रॉम वेरियस पार्ट्स ऑफ द बॉडी टू द हार्ट एक्सेप्ट पल्मोनरी वेन, which is the only vein which carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. So हमारी बॉडी की इकलौती ऐसी vein which carries pure blood, oxygenated blood, is the pulmonary vein. Right? Now, veins are placed superficial. See, if a person is very thin, very lean, you can see that just beneath the skin, you can see greenish blue blood vessels. Children, they are nothing but the veins. So, veins are placed superficial. These are thin-walled and less elastic blood vessels. They have a larger lumen and they are narrow. Now look at the section. If you compare the section of the transverse section of arteries to that of the vein, vein has a larger lumen. It has a larger space for the flow of the blood. Next, internal valves are present in the veins which prevents the backflow of blood. So we have studied that the lumen of the artery was, or you can say that the lumen of the artery is devoid of valves. It shows absence of valves, whereas the lumen of the veins very well shows presence of valves. Right? Now blood flows very slowly in the veins. Blood flows very slowly and gradually in the veins. So, when you go to the transverse section of veins, look here children, like artery, even the veins are made up of 3 layers. The transverse section shows 3 layers. The outermost layer is called as tunica externa. Yes, the middle layer is called as tunica media. Here in case of veins, the tunica media is very thin as compared to that of the tunica media of the artery. And the innermost one is tunica interna. The innermost one is tunica interna. Now this tunica media is thinner, as I told you, and the larger of the lumen of the vein is larger, and not only larger, it is narrow also. Fine children? So these are the differences very clearly seen between the two blood vessels, arteries and the veins. Let us come to the third and the last type of blood vessels, that is capillaries. Now children, when you focus your attention on the capillaries, these are very, very thin, minute blood vessels, and they are so thin that they form network of blood vessels. They are made up of a single layer of squamous epithelium. They are made up of a single layer of squamous epithelium which is resting on a basement membrane. It is resting on a basement membrane. They are mainly involved in the exchange of material deep within the cells and tissues of our body. Blood flows through capillaries under high pressure. Blood flows through capillaries and look here children, the transverse section of capillary. Now this time the transverse section is not showing 3 layers. It is just showing a very thin, sleek single layer, that is the tunica interna. Lumen is also very small, and this tunica interna is made up of very small squamous epithelial cells which settles or which sits on the basement membrane, right? So the walls of the capillary bears small endothelial pores or fenestrae through which the WBCs can escape by a process which is called as diapediasis. What is it called as? Diapediasis. What is it called as? Diapediasis, right? Now next, after completing the 3 types of blood vessels, let us move on to a new topic, a connected topic, that is pulse. Now what is meant by pulse? You know children, it is series of pressure waves that travels through the arteries. A series of pressure waves that travels through the arteries due to ventricular systole, due to contraction of ventricles. It is stronger in arteries closer to the heart and gradually becomes weaker in the arteries away from the heart. Pulse is stronger, it is felt stronger in the arteries closer to the heart, and gradually it becomes weaker in the arteries which is away from the heart. It can be easily felt in the superficial arteries like the radial arteries which is present in the wrist and the carotid artery which is present in the neck. The pulse rate is equal to heart rate. Pulse rate is equal to heart rate. If the pulse rate is higher than the normal, that is above 100 beats per minute, it is called as tachycardia. What is it called as? Tachycardia. If the pulse rate of a person is higher than the normal pulse rate, that is 100 beats, 100 heartbeats per minute, it is called as tachycardia. The medical condition is called as tachycardia. Whereas if it is slower, if the pulse rate is slower, that is it is below 60 heartbeats per minute, then the normal, it is called as bradycardia. What is it called as? Bradycardia. Right children? Fine. So this is about the pulse, right, which forms the heartbeats, and it is caused by series of pressure waves which travels through the arteries due to the contraction of ventricles. Here children, when we come to the next topic, it is about the blood pressure. It's a very common and familiar term. Generally, the youngsters, you might have heard this term in your every day-to-day life from parents and from elders or oldies. So what does it mean? You know children, blood pressure is the pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of the blood vessels. Blood pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of the blood vessels. It is called as blood pressure. What is it called as? Blood pressure. And you know children, when this blood flows through the arteries, it even exerts a pressure on the walls of the arteries. Hence, it is called as arterial blood pressure. What is it called as? So here children, usually the BP is measured from the arteries. Now let us study the arterial blood pressure. As I told you, pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of the arteries called as arterial blood pressure. Pressure on the arterial wall during ventricular contraction, that is during the ventricular systole, is called as systolic pressure, SP. A normal healthy man, an adult, for a normal healthy man, that is an adult, the systolic pressure is 120 mm of mercury. It is the blood pressure is measured in the column of mercury. So, for a normal healthy man, the systolic pressure is 120 mm of mercury. Whereas, the pressure on the arterial wall during the ventricular relaxation, that is when the ventricle relaxes, when the muscles of the ventricle relax, is 80 mm of mercury. So, for a normal human adult, the diastolic pressure is, the normal diastolic pressure is 80 mm of mercury. So, when you want to represent the blood pressure children, it is always the ratio of systolic pressure to diastolic pressure. Or I can say BP is equals to systolic pressure by diastolic pressure. That is 120 by 80 mm of mercury. So, for a normal healthy human being, the blood pressure it is measured in the range of 120 by 80 mm of mercury.